2025 federal budget has been released and the highlights are really remarkable. This is a document that connects patriotism, ambition, and reassurance. And it's an implicit rebuttal to the Trump threat. It's a Trump survival plan. The themes are to spend less and to invest more, and they were reinforced as the operating budget was reduced while the capital budget was increased. So we have a situation now where the government is very consistent with its messaging both before the budget was released and when it actually came out. Spending is in the eye of the beholder, however. And on one hand, we have a deficit that was projected to be $78.3 billion, one of the highest ever in peacetime, and maybe the highest ever in outstanding COVID. But on the flip side, that's less than 3% of GDP, and the debt ratio was about 43% of GDP. So both of those numbers are the lowest in the G7. And if any other G7 can handle debt, well, then I think the country that can handle it best would be Canada. So the clear focus is on nation building and the projects that entails. And a lot of those things require provincial assistance. And I think we have a situation now where the government is being elbows up and it's doing what it can to get the whole country to be on side in what is effectively economic warfare. The budget document itself is rife with words like build and protect and empower. And the positioning is to supercharge economic growth. And that's easier said than done. But that's clearly what the government is trying to do. And I personally am up for it. The messaging at the end of the day is to move from an economy of reliance to an economy of resilience. I think that's actually a bit inspirational. I think the country is very much on board with what the government is trying to do. Personally, I'm gratified that we have a government that will stand up to President Trump and all the bully tactics that he's trying to impose upon us. One other thing that I will say is we've already had one defection from the opposition ranks to the government ranks. So the government is stronger than it has been previously. The first confidence vote passed, and it looks as though there will not be any real threat to the government in not allowing this budget to pass. So it looks as though this budget will pass and the government will be allowed to persist in its agenda going forward. But make no mistake, this is a country that is at war. This is economic warfare. And we have a government that is now doing everything it can to build infrastructure, key national projects, precious metals and minerals, infrastructure, as I said, building housing, anything they can to prop up the Canadian economy as it's being threatened by Trump's tariffs. And I think it's the sort of thing that we as a country should be on board with. This has been Weekly Wealth Update, a Make Better Wealth Decisions podcast dedicated to explaining how current events impact your portfolio and the wealth decisions you make. Tune in for commentary on how the news of the week affects your portfolio and your thinking.